Namaste, Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jayo Gopijanna Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jayo Gopijanna Vallabha Girivaradhari. Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Brajajandarandana. Yashodanandana Brajajandarandana. Yamunatira Vanachari. Yamunatira Vanachari. Vanachari. Jayurada Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jayurada Madhava Kunja Bihari. Kunja Bihari. Jayo Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jayo Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivaradhari. Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. 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 Yamunatira Vanachari. Yamunatira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, oh Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayo Prabhupada, 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 Jayo Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Haribol, 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 Haribol. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Go Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Oh, dear devotees, today we are going to read Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 3, text number 32. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we are reading Canto 7, chapter 1, text number 32. Tatva param na param api anjat. Tatva na param Sata param na param api anjat. Anajat. Na param api anajat. Echa chakinchid vyatiriktam asti. Kinchit vyatiriktam asti. Echa chakinchit vyatiriktam asti. Vidya kalaste tanavashcha sarva. Vidya kalaste tanavashcha sarva. Vidya kalaste tanavashcha sarva. Vidya kalaste tanavashcha sarva. Hiranya garbhosi brihatri prishtha. Garbhosi. Hiranyagarbhosi bhrihatri prishtha. Tvata param na param api anjat. Echa chakinchid vyatiriktam asti. Vidya kalaste tanavashcha sarva. Hiranyagarbhosi bhrihatri prishtha. Any devotee want to chant, please?
Tata param. Hare Krishna. Tata param na param apyane jad. Ejach chekinchid vyatirik asti. Vidyakalaste naravashchasarva. Hiranyagarbo si brahat chriprishtaha.
Swata param na param apyanejat ejat chakinchit vyatiriktamasti Vidyakalaste tanavascha sarva hiranyagarbhosi prihat.
If nobody, I have just only a short, quick message to Agari Krishna Prabhu. Since we are here together and you are downstairs, so if you like, you are very welcome to jump in upstairs.
I'm not upstairs, Prabhu. I'm
Oh, okay.
off. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you. All right. So tatataha from you. Param higher. Not. Aparam lower. Api even. Anejat not moving. Ejat moving. Cha and. Kinchit anything. Vyati separate. Asti there is. Vidya knowledge. Kala its parts. Te of you. Tanava features of the body. Cha and Sarva all. Hiranyagarbha the one who keeps the universe within his abdomen. Asi you are. Brihat greater than the greatest. Triprishtha transcendental to the three modes of material nature. Translation. There is nothing separate from you, whether it be better or lower, stationary or moving. The knowledge derived from the Vedic literature, like the Upanishads, are from all the sub-limbs of the original Vedic knowledge, form your external body. You are Hiranyagarbha, the reservoir of the universe, but nonetheless, being situated as the supreme controller, you are transcendental to the material world, which consists of the three modes of material nature. Purport. The word param means the supreme cause, and aparam means the effect. The supreme cause is the supreme personality of Godhead, and the effect is material nature. The living entities, both moving and non-moving, are controlled by the Vedic instructions in art and science, and therefore they are all expansions of the external energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the center as the super soul. The Brahman, thus, the universes, exist during the duration of a breath of the Supreme Lord. Yasyaika nishvastita kalam adhavalam jivanti lama vilaja jagat ananda natha. Thus, they are also within the womb of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Mahavishnu. Nothing, therefore, is separate from the Supreme Lord. This is the philosophy of Achintya Bheda Abheda Tattva. Tvata param na param api annejat echat chakinchid vyatiriktam asti vidya kalaste tanavascha sarva hiranya garbhosi brihatri prishtha. There is nothing separate from you, whether it be better or lower, stationary or moving. The knowledge derived from the Vedic literatures like the Upanishads and form all the sub-limbs of the original Vedic knowledge. Sorry. Vedic, once again, please. There is nothing separate from you, whether it be better or lower, stationary or moving. The knowledge derived from the Vedic literatures like the Upanishads and from all the sublimbs of the original Vedic knowledge form your external body. You are Hiranyagarbha, the reservoir of the universe, but nonetheless, being situated as the supreme controller, you are transcendental to the material world, which consists of the three modes of material nature. Beautiful prayer. It was able to compile this Hiranyakashipu, one of the greatest demons existing in this material world. Quite amazing. It reminds me actually that, as you all know, I am from Poland. Due to law of karma, I was forced to take birth in this little country, where a little bit over 1,000 years ago, before year 1000, there was Polish society there, in much larger country than is at the present moment, but still in this country they worship Lord Brahma. Most probably also they were compiling these beautiful prayers like Hiranyakashipu. They were worshipping Lord Brahma before Christian tradition entered the country. In Polish, Brahma was known as Światowit. From Polish to English, translation is like something like seer of the universe. Four-headed, they have four-headed statues and they worship as well as a Światowit, as a seer of universe, four-headed Lord Brahma. So they were accepting him like Hiranyakashipu as the supreme personality of Godhead, the supreme controller of the universe, as the Hiranyagarbha, the reservoir of the universe, and who is transcendental to three modes of material nature. So it's quite amazing how even demoniac persons who are by nature envious of the supreme personality of God, and therefore they are demons, they are able to glorify some superiors like Lord Brahma in such a beautiful way. This is quite amazing. So sometimes, we conditioned souls, we also wonder about ourselves. Therefore, we have, some like horoscope charts, and some other, like sources of learning about ourselves, about our qualities, our abilities, our future, our presence, all these different things. So Krishna actually, he very beautifully characterized living entity, conditioned soul, who is rejecting the idea of reconnecting with him. So therefore, this type of personality is defined as demoniac. So just as a self-analysis, let's read what Krishna, how Krishna characterized the qualities of demoniac person. Because in this verse, quite, it's quite interesting in sense of discovering the nature of a demoniac person. Because usually when we think about demons, then we can think about persons who are really harsh and rude, and they really want to destroy everything around. They have like two big teeth on the front and some big nails on in so this is like something from cartoon. We have such image of demon, but actually demons, like Srila Prabhupada described in Srimad Bhagavatam in later cantos, they are actually can be manifested as very well mannered, people, well dressed and mannered people. So how to understand this? Well, it's not about the external appearance, which also sometimes indicate what is inside, but mainly what characteristics are, what qualities they manifest. So Krishna described this in very precise way. So if we like to also learn about ourselves, how divine we are, how glorious we are, or maybe not very glorious, and what is there in our consciousness that making us condition. So let's investigate. Krishna mentioned to Arjuna pride, arrogance, conceit, and I don't know how to read this, conceit, conceit. English-speaking experts, if you can correct me if it is wrong, so then correct me. If not, then I'm
Correct, Prabhu.
Thank you. And I'm continuing. Pride, arrogance, conceit, anger, harshness, and ignorance. These qualities belong to those of demoniac nature, O son of Prita. Those who are demoniac do not know what is to be done and what is not to be done. Neither cleanness nor proper behavior nor truth is found in them. It's quite amazing because we see that Hiranyakashipu was well mannered in expressing such eloquent prayer. This is quite amazing. They say that this world is unreal, with no foundation, no God in control. They say it is produced of sex desire and has no cause other than lust. Following such conclusions, the demoniac who are lost to themselves and who have no intelligence engage in unbeneficial, horrible works meant to destroy the world. Taking shelter of the unstable lust and absorbed in the conceit of pride and false prestige, the demoniac, thus illusion, are always sworn to unclean work and attracted by the impermanent. They believe that to gratify the senses is the prime necessity of human civilization. Thus, until the end of life, their anxiety is immeasurable. Bound by the network of hundreds of thousands of desires and absorbed in lust and anger, they secure money by illegal means for sense gratification. The demoniac person thinks, so much wealth do I have today, and I will gain more according to my schemes. So much is mine now, and it will increase in the future more and more. He's my enemy, and I have killed him, and my other enemies will also be killed. I am the Lord of everything. I am the enjoyer. I am perfect, powerful, and happy. I am the richest man surrounded by the aristocratic relatives. There is none so powerful and happy as I am. I shall perform sacrifices, I shall give some charity, and thus I shall rejoice. In this way, such persons are deluded by ignorance. Thus, perplexed by various anxieties and bound by a network of illusions, they become too strongly attached to sense enjoyment and fall down into hell. Self-complacent and always impudent, deluded by the wealth and false prestige, they sometimes proudly perform sacrifices in name only, without following any rules or regulations. Bewildered by false ego, strength, pride, lust, and anger, the demons become envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in their own bodies and in the bodies of others, and blaspheme against the real religion. Those who are envious and mischievous, who are the lowest among men, are perpetually cast into the ocean of material existence, into various demoniac species of life, attaining repeated birth amongst the species of demoniac life. O son of Kunti, such persons can never approach me. Gradually, they sink down the most abominable type of existence. There are three gates leading to this hell: lust, anger, and greed. Every sane man should give this up, for they lead to the degradation of the soul. The man who has escaped these three gates of hell, O son of Kunti, performs acts conducive to self-realization and thus gradually attains the supreme destination. He who discards spiritual injunctions and acts according to his own whims attains neither perfection, nor happiness, nor the supreme destination. One should therefore understand what is duty and what is not duty by the regulations of the scriptures. Knowing such rules and regulations, one should act so that he may gradually be elevated. So this is very good news. One should therefore understand what is duty and what is not duty by the regulations of the scriptures. No, by some whimsical attains whims or capricious approach to regulations of the freedom. Knowing such rules and regulations, one should act so that he may gradually be elevated. Another good news, dear devotees, is that by Krishna's grace and his representative mercy, we are on the path of bhakti yoga, process of purification. So therefore we have opportunity to wash out all these demoniac qualities that we assumed in due course of time, traveling in this material world from one body to another based on law of karma. So now we being blessed by Krishna's devotees and having Krishna's mercy, we are in the process of purification, trying to follow rules and regulations of civilized human life. And on the top of this, we are trying to implement shastric injunctions to our life and follow them. We are trying to follow the process that Krishna himself designed for all of us and send us through his bona fide representatives. Like Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada delineated this process so nicely. from the very beginning, from the waking up till going to sleep. How to eat, how to sleep, how to dress, how to act, how to behave. So he compiled beautiful process based on Krishna's desire, Krishna's injunctions, that we can uplift our consciousness, elevate our lifestyle to very civilized culture, and act and behave and communicate with others in such a way that we can be very pleasing to Krishna and to Krishna's devotees. So when we will practice with great eagerness, and also it's very important to note that practice makes perfect. So if we practice every day, then for sure we become perfect. And how this perfection will sprout? By become qualified to come back to Krishna, come back to spiritual world. So in the present moment, as long as we have this human form of life, as long as we are residing in this human form of life, we have still chance and opportunity to purify our consciousness and become eligible to come back to Krishna. So it is very important, in other words, to follow Bhakti Yoga process without any interpretations and whimsical approach, but with great sincerity. Adopt everything what we see in Shastras, what we listen or hear from our Guru Maharaj, because these three sources of knowledge, and also sadhus, those who practice bhakti with great sincerity and determination. So these three sources of knowledge are very extremely valuable. They are treasure of those who are very sincere bhakti yoga practitioners. As my Guru Maharaj used to always repeat, that Bhakti Yoga is guidance culture. The more we accept guidance in our life, the more wealthy we are. Why is that? Why is it so? He's not giving us gold or money or something. Why he said that we are wealthy? Well, the more guidance we follow from these three sources of knowledge, the more we can mold our life in such a way that we can please Krishna and draw his attention upon ourselves and get his favor, that we can come back to Krishna after this very short life. Because as we know, the more we are growing in this body year after year, the more our body is aging, the more we see that time is shrinking for our presence in this body. And from the perspective of time, when we looked in the previous decades, we can see that, oh my goodness, time is running so quickly and life is very short. I don't have so much time to do something significant for my own benefit. So therefore, if we have opportunity to be somewhere where devotees association is, where the devotional service is, pure unalloyed devotional service, where we can express love, devotion, dedication, care. So let's take advantage, because this is just nothing else like opportunity given to us for purification, for become eligible to come back to Krishna. If we not take this very seriously, we will take this like something casual, something available everywhere. So then we are losers. If we don't want to be loser, we need to analyze the situation that we're in, that we are blessed, that we were blessed from the perspective of these three sources of knowledge. So when we after analysis, we come to understanding that, oh my goodness, I'm so lucky, I'm so fortunate soul that 99.99% of the population on this earth planet, they don't have this opportunity that I got to become Krishna conscious, to understand the supreme personality of Godhead. Not like Hiranyakashipu took Brahma as the supreme personality of Godhead. They worship him for, of course, for some, with certain attitude for some benefit. But we can, we are able to focus on original, the supreme personality of Godhead, and worship him according his desires. Learn the art how to become pure servant, how to come back to our original constitutional position as a part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, and serve the Supreme Lord with love and devotion. This is quite art, especially that we were in this material world since time immemorial, acquiring all these different bad demoniac qualities, like we read from Bhagavad Gita. And we can see, if we are sincerely do some analysis, self-analysis, then we can see that, oh my goodness, all these different demoniac qualities are still in there, in my consciousness, in my mind, in my heart. How to get rid of them? This is what Krishna mentioned in Bhagavad Gita as well. By practice, very sincere practice and detachment. So in this way, we can measure our progress. The more we, by this Krishna conscious practices, the more we developing genuine attraction and attachment to Krishna, to Krishna's devotees, to pure, genuine devotional service for Krishna's satisfaction, the less we are attached to cultivation, all these material desires, all these material qualities that we unfortunately accepted in being in this material world. So the more we are attached to Krishna, the less we are attached to material existence, the more Krishna conscious we are, the more purified we are, the more advanced we are. So in the advancement in this way we can measure. So I found also in Bhagavad Gita another very beautiful, interesting explanation which refers to text today. Please pay attention, because afterwards we are going to have some discussion on the basis of this knowledge that we read today. Krishna mentioned in Bhagavad Gita text, chapter 9, text number 10, Madhyadakshana prakriti suyate sachacharacharam hetunena kauntaya jagad vipartivartate. This material nature, which is one of my energies, is working under my direction, O son of Kunti, producing all moving and non-moving beings. Under its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. And Srila Prabhupada elaborated this text in his purport as follows. It is clearly stated here that the Supreme Lord, although aloof from all activities of the material world, remains the Supreme Director. The Supreme Lord is the Supreme Will and the background of this material manifestation. But the management is being conducted by material nature. Krishna also states in the Bhagavad Gita that of all the living entities in different forms and species, I am the Father. The Father gives seeds to the womb of the mother of the child. And similarly, the Supreme Lord, by his mere glance, injects all the living entities into the womb of material nature. And they come out in their different forms and species, according to their lust, desires, and activities. All these living entities, although born under the glance of the Supreme Lord, take their different bodies according to their past deeds and desires. So the Lord is not directly attached to this material creation. He simply glances over material nature. Material nature is thus activated and everything is created immediately. Because he glances over material nature, there is undoubtedly activity on the part of the Supreme Lord, but he has nothing to do with the manifestation of the material world directly. This example is given in the Smriti. When there is a fragrant flower before someone, the fragrance is touched by the smelling power of the person. Yet, the smelling and the flower are detached from one another. There is a similar connection between the material world and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Actually, he has nothing to do with this material world, but he creates by his glance and ordains. In summary, material nature without the superintendence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot do anything. Yet, the Supreme Personality is detached from all material activities. Shortly speaking, as Krishna mentioned in Bhagavad Gita 4:11, Mama Vartman Vartante Manusha Pata Sarvasha. Everyone, everything is following my path in all respect. So therefore, trying to remembering this, at least please make an exercise today. Try to remember this one statement that everyone and everything in this material world followed Krishna's path in all respect. In other words, there is nothing beyond or behind Krishna's creation. Everything is included in Krishna's creation. So whatever come to our mind actually is included in Krishna's creation. So in order to fulfill our desires, either to forget Krishna or to remember Krishna, we need to approach Krishna, because only Krishna can fulfill all different desires. So since I'm following Krishna's path anyway, and I am on the path of bhakti, let me remember Krishna as Krishna want me to remember. So let's do this endeavor to always remember Krishna and never forget him. And whatever stick to your mind from this, what I read from Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, please contemplate during this day, because this is what we practice in Bhakti Yoga. We have this 4 hours of morning program that is called Program of Making Spiritual Progress, which is like type of immunization for the day or preparation, because during the day when other modes of material nature, especially passion in around noon and ignorance at night, start to work and push us here and there, so it's very difficult to remain in goodness. So, but if we will take advantage of these 4 hours of practice, chanting and hearing of about the Supreme Lord, so then there's some possibility, some chance to remember Krishna during the day, and during the activities we perform, or during our behavior, mannerism, we can remember Krishna, why we're doing what we're doing. So this is much easier to function in Bhakti Yoga. But if we will somehow or another not practice this 4 hours in the morning properly, we not practice properly, take advantage of these 4 hours of practice, spiritual culture, spiritual activities. So then during the day, there is some possibility that we can slack from our path. We can make some deviation will be much more difficult when some challenges will come. So therefore, to take advantage of these 4 hours in the morning, practicing all these different activities that we practice, that Srila Prabhupada called the sadhana bhakti, and our Guru Maharaj is calling this like therapeutic stage, where rules and regulations are followed. So then we can become immune, become empowered to face some challenges of the day in easier way, not just become weaker or sicker spiritually, etc. So let's take advantage of this process, which is such beautifully designed. Gurudev, here my like some of the last lectures of my Guru Maharaj, he mentioned that actually Bhakti Yoga, Krishna consciousness, is like recreation process. Because actually is when we are very seriously engaged in Krishna consciousness, so this is giving us like opportunity to relax from the pangs of material existence, and be relaxed, be rejuvenated, because only Krishna consciousness can give us peace and happiness. So thank you very much for your attention. And if you have any questions or comments, you are very welcome. Let's give them. Krishna Mai here aside, she has some question.
Thank you so much for a very nice lecture. You mentioned about guidance, that Krishna consciousness promotes guidance culture. If you would take one day of devotee life, just one random day, would you mind to illustrating how seeking guidance would look like practically?
You know, I am still very conditioned soul and aspiring devotee. Usually, what I am doing is I'm trying to follow my Guru Maharaj instruction about sadhana bhakti. And he usually quotes Srila Prabhupada, like even recently when he was present in a Gita Nagari, he asked all of us, so we all practice sadhana bhakti. Do you know what sadhana bhakti is according to Srila Prabhupada definition? Because I said. So Srila Prabhupada said, you should wake up early morning during Brahma Muhurta time, come for a Mangala Arati to show, not only show your face, show yourself, but to perform sweet bhajan kirtan for Krishna. Like we read from Krishna book about Krishna's activities. We see that when Krishna was coming to the assembly house, then all performers were ready. When Krishna was entering, so then all performance started. People pay big money going to Las Vegas. Why? Because there is a lot of different, such entertaining events. And why they are so famous? Because they perfectly arrange everything that when curtains are open, then everything is so luxuriously opulent and precisely performed, and people enjoy this. So why people enjoy this? Because actually Krishna, the supreme person, enjoyed this. So we have this tendency after Krishna. So devotees of Krishna, when coming to the temple in the morning, when curtain is open, then they bow down with sincere respect, with affection. My Lord appear. So then they play, they chant, they play for Krishna's satisfaction with affection. Afterwards is japa time. So then we pay attention, sharp attention to chant holy name of the Lord. Not only to beg him for devotional service, as mantra means, but also to satisfy Krishna's ear by our sweet chanting. And then afterwards is Srimad Bhagavatam class. So my Guru Maharaj was always was emphasizing that we should come from Srimad Bhagavatam with a very attentive ear, with attitude that whatever I will hear, I need to try to implement during the day. Like you're going to school, you're going to university. Why are you going to this place? Just to learn something. So you are very attentive. You're coming with attentive ear to listen what teacher is going to say and what type of homework is for me. So they are very seriously engaged in this activity because they pay big money to just learn something. So we spending in our time in Krishna consciousness, our energy, and also means just to learn something. If knowing is not enough, we need to apply this. If we apply, we follow, and this especially when every day is Srimad Bhagavatam class, of course, for those who are very sincere in this process. So if we have attentive ear and we listen, what I should apply this, what I should implement in my present day, today, as a class. So then I can remember and contemplate Krishna during activities of the day. So guidance, it can be everywhere, especially when we are amongst devotees. We can always strike some conversation with devotees, asking them question, what do you think about this? And then enjoy the conversation about Krishna consciousness, about devotional service and this and that. So this is very nourishing. So now our day can turn into total ecstasy.
Thank you so much. I think we are out of time.
But devotees are still there, so
the temple has independent program.
Dear Prabhus, if you have something, or Agari Krishna Prabhu. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare
Thank you so
Krishna.
much, Prabhu, for that inspirational class. It was very fascinating that in your home country, they used to worship Lord Brahma. It's very, very fascinating. So my question relates to the patience that's required to participate in a guidance culture that you spoke about. So, for example, guidance typically it assumes that you are raised nicely. So it assumes that both parents were present in your life, that you were treated very nicely by your mother and father, and in this way you can actually it becomes easier to follow the guidance of other mother figures and father figures that you acquire later on in life, which they're not related to you biologically. But we see here in America, especially, and also it's spreading in other countries as well, is that the children aren't raised very nicely. A lot of, even around the world, I guess, there's just Varna Sankara. And so the kids aren't planned. They're like born under darkness, so the kids are seen as an inconvenience, and they take it out. The parents take it out on the kids, and so there's a lot of fear. So devotees come into the guidance culture of Krishna consciousness, and there's a lot of fear, that is associated with this conditioning. So my question is, as you have been a leader in Krishna consciousness, you're a father figure to many devotees. So how do you actually cope with this? Do you deal with it directly by, pointing out that the devotees with this kind of conditioning, that you just keep telling them, this is your wealth, you need to follow, take guidance from mother figures and father figures in Krishna consciousness? Or do you do it like how Krishna does it, as Hiranyakashipu describes in the previous verse, 2 verses or so down, through inspiration and forgetfulness? So the super soul, he influences the living entity through inspiration, telling him or her what to do, and then it also causes forgetfulness. And then in this way, the living entity can actually be focused to do what is supposed to be done.
Thank you for your question. Yes, this is a little bit complex issue, situation with especially modern generation. You know, you can help those who are open for help. You cannot help those who are not willing to be helped. So personally, in my practices and in my experience is that, you know, on the some years back, I was trying to help everyone, but I realized that if you're trying to help person who is not willing to accept your help, you're just causing only disturbance and this turning against you. Although you was trying, you know, put your heart on the plate, still they don't understand this, and you are trying getting more trouble. So therefore, you know, learning my lesson, I'm extending my help only to those who are willing to accept, are open for help. So, and it's easy to recognize. You're just asking question, you know, approaching to the person, asking questions, and then by his answer or behavior or mannerism, you can also read, you know, how much person is open. If person is open, then I'm also open more and more to enter her life and try to help in certain areas where help is needed. If person is not open, chapter is closed. So and then I'm leaving this person to more elevated, more qualified and competent devotees. If they are not able to do this, to help these persons, then only Krishna. What we can do.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay, Prabhus, we are coming close to 7 o'clock.
8.
I'm 8 o'clock, thank you. If there's no other questions or comments, thank you so much for your attention and see you soon. Hare Krishna.
Hare
I
Krishna.
have a few comments.
Oh, yes, Prabhu.
You were mentioning that His Holiness Deva Amrita Swami had described Krishna consciousness as recreation.
Yeah.
This was something that which Srila Prabhupada also mentioned, that our program is actually, because sometimes people would complain about the austerities of Krishna consciousness, and Srila Prabhupada would object to this kind of characterization, and he would explain that actually our program is one of recreation, that it is simply singing and dancing and feasting. It's all wonderful enjoyment. In Bhagavad Gita, the 9th chapter, Krishna says, Raja Vidya Rajaguryam Pravitam Idam Uttamam Pratyaksha Bhagamam Dharmyam Susukam Kartam Avyayam, that this knowledge is the king of education, the most secret of all secrets. It is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, it is the perfection of religion. It is everlasting, and it is joyfully performed. And Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport, he says, it is said that the execution of devotional service is so perfect that one can perceive the results directly. This direct result is actually perceived, and we have practical experience that any person who is chanting the holy names of Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, in course of chanting without offenses, feels some transcendental pleasure and very quickly becomes purified of all material contamination. This is actually seen. Furthermore, if one engages not only in hearing, but in trying to broadcast the message of devotional activities as well, or if he engages himself in helping the missionary activities of Krishna consciousness, he gradually feels spiritual progress. This advancement in spiritual life does not depend on any kind of previous education or qualification. The method itself is so pure that simply engaging in it, one becomes pure.
Mm.
He there is one small book entitled The Path of Perfection, in which Srila Prabhupada says, in the chapter entitled Yoga as Action, he says, no one really wants to sit down and meditate. Why should we? We're meant for positive activity, for recreation, for pleasure. In Krishna consciousness, our recreation is dancing and chanting. And when we get tired, we take prasad. Is, is,
Jai-ho.
Is dancing difficult? Is chanting difficult? We don't charge anything to dance in the temple. If you go to a ballroom, you have to pay to enter, but we do not charge. It is natural to enjoy music and dancing and palatable foods. These are our recreations, and this is our method of meditation. So this yoga system is not at all laborious. It is simply recreation. Susukam. It is stated in the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita that this yoga is susukam, very happy. It is everlasting and it is joyfully performed. It is natural, automatic, and spontaneous. It is our real life in the spiritual world. So Krishna consciousness is a joyful process unless we are terribly covered over, or even one is covered over. You know, we have experienced that. Srila Prabhupada used to talk about this, that our Harinam parties, I remember in the early 70s, we would go to Times Square in Manhattan and chant, and on Friday nights and Saturday nights, and there would be many people walking on the street, all trying to enjoy themselves, usually intoxicated, everybody drinking, terribly covered over, completely in Maya, but they would pass by the Harinam party and they could not help themselves. They would immediately begin to dance, and they would try to sing along, just immediately feeling some transcendental ecstasy just by hearing the holy names. And Srila Prabhupada assured us that this is not just some mocking activity that these people are engaged in. They are actually genuinely experiencing some taste of transcendental ecstasy just by hearing the holy names. Very, very wonderful process. And Srila Prabhupada prescribed this also, especially for our farm projects in Hyderabad, where we had a large farm. Srila Prabhupada instructed that in the course of explaining how to develop a farm project as a village. He said the village organization is that for recreation, they have the chanting of Hare Krishna. They should live there comfortably and have spiritual recreation. They should not come to the cities. I wish to introduce this ideal now. Then, if we are successful, this cheating civilization will stop. They have made these cities as hell. If people do not cooperate with them, then how will the factories run on? And if the people are satisfied by this arrangement, then what will the communists do? Srila Prabhupada saw this as a solution to all kinds of problems. But he was a great promoter of the recreational activity of Krishna consciousness. He talked all the time about dancing, singing, and feasting. So joyous process. What else did I want to say? Oh, yeah, and you spoke about the importance of the morning program, the value of the morning program, that it inoculates us, and it's so uplifting. It prepares us for the day, but it also is our means of progress. It's how we advance in Krishna consciousness. The morning time is very special. It's a special opportunity, a time during the day when the modes of nature are most favorable for advancement in Krishna consciousness. So, performing devotional activities in the early morning hours are especially beneficial. And Srila Prabhupada stressed this very, very much. It was it seems to me that nowadays the emphasis is diminished. A lot of devotees don't necessarily attend the morning program, but in the earlier days when Srila Prabhupada was with us, the morning program was very greatly stressed by Srila Prabhupada, and everyone always attended the morning program. There was no question of missing the morning program. Starting with Mangala Artik, everyone in the community, all of the devotees would never fail to attend Mangala Artik every day. And Srila Prabhupada insisted upon this. Um, um, I could tell you one story. I don't know, it's late, but
It seems like we have good time here because maybe we have some separate right now, like access to all discussion here and temple running its own.
all right, if you want, I can go on
Please.
briefly. Yeah, in also in Hyderabad in the city temple, prior to the opening of the temple, while the temple was under construction, and actually it was the day before the installment of the deities, which was scheduled to happen on Janmashtami. This was in 1976. So Srila Prabhupada had just arrived the night before, and I was cleaning his room in the morning. 5 a.m. every day, Srila Prabhupada would stop his dictation. Hari Sari would come into his room to check and see if there was anything that Srila Prabhupada required. And I would come in at that time to clean, and then there would be a string of various GBC men and other individuals to speak to Srila Prabhupada. And on this one particular morning, the circumstances were unusual. The temple was under construction. It was literally a construction site. There was construction debris everywhere. You could not walk through the temple room. The temple room was just filled with all kinds of construction debris. Even Srila Prabhupada's room was incompleted, and there very, very difficult circumstances. It was very inhospitable. There was no room anywhere. There were workers everywhere, all kinds of noise and all kinds of construction supplies and materials everywhere, and a great rush to try to complete the temple. The devotees were working very hard, working very long hours to try to ensure that the opening of the temple happened on time. It was a very big event. Many dignitaries had been invited, and as I mentioned, Srila Prabhupada was personally there to oversee, and so everyone was working very hard. Nobody was getting any sleep. And the first day Srila Prabhupada was there, first thing in the morning, after his dictation completed for the night, he immediately called the temple president, who at the time was Mahamsa Swami. And so I was right in front of Srila Prabhupada, washing the floor beneath his desk, as he began to speak to Mahamsa Swami, and he demanded to know why was there no Mangala Artik this morning?
Mm.
And Mahamsa explained that, well, we've all been so busy and there's no room in the temple room for the devotees to gather together. And we're just exhausted and just trying to get the temple open. And Srila Prabhupada looked sternly at Mahamsa Swami and he began to shout at him very loudly. It was frightening. He began bellowing. Um, he said, I am attending Mangala Artik every single day. Do you think that you are better than your spiritual master?
Mm. Mm.
Anyway, this was Srila Prabhupada's mood. He was very heavy about the attendance of the morning program.
Yeah.
He pushed us very, very hard. It didn't matter that there were so many extenuating circumstances. He still expected us to do this no matter what. Um, and the circumstances could not have been more difficult than what happened on that occasion. The devotees were not getting adequate sleep. There was no place to come together. It was very, very difficult. And still, in spite of all the adversity, Srila Prabhupada still expected that Mangal Artik would go on no matter what, and that everyone would be there. So,
Mm.
so there's no excuse as far as Srila Prabhupada is concerned. There is no valid excuse. We have to adjust everything somehow or other to ensure that we do this because it's so extremely important.
Yes.
When we chant the Guru Vashika prayers in the morning, it's described that the spiritual master is showering mercy like a cloud pours rain everywhere indiscriminately. And that shower of mercy is a very rare and special opportunity that should not be missed. We want to take advantage of that. As we are singing those words, it is actually at that very moment that the spiritual master is distributing that mercy. During the morning program and during Mangala Artik in particular, there is a great rain of mercy extending from Krishna through the Parampara and the spiritual master. And it is a great banquet of extraordinary transcendental tastes, very, very sweet, very delicious, and sufficient to enable us to overcome all lower tastes just by relishing the sweetness of the transcendental sound vibrations. So Mangala Artik is very, very special. No one should miss that opportunity. It's such a great opportunity to advance in leaps and bounds just by hearing and relishing the sweetness of that sound vibration. There is nothing else like it throughout the rest of the day. There is not another opportunity that can compare to that. It's very, very special.
Thank
Anyway,
you. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Thank you for this delicious presentation. So sweet. Thank you so much. I was enjoying like eating gulab jamans, shikand, sandesh, rasagulas. My goodness, your words were so sweet. Thank you. Especially this example, from to Allahabad or whatever it was. Yes, Srila Prabhupada was loving, caring father, knowing how important, how powerful, and extremely beneficial is for us morning program. So if he is attending, what to speak about us? So he was giving not only instruction, knowing from his sweet heart what is very beneficial for us and growing kids, but also he was showing us his own example, like loving caring father want to teach how to ride a child. So then he's taking his hand and is writing, although child can think that, oh, I'm doing this, but actually his father is doing, like you mentioned, that Guru, when he see that we follow his instruction, he's showering us with mercy. So this is like Guru who is just guiding us, showing us by his own example. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you. This was delicious. Thank you. So I think that it's time to exit our meeting. Once again, thank you, Prabhus, for wonderful attention and contribution to this meeting of Srimad Bhagavatam. So see you next time. Hare Krishna.